Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I am out here in the lab working on the Brubaker Box. Had a fantastic weekend with the Mercedes 320. This thing is up and running and driving right now, which I'm really thrilled about. Still some tuning and stuff to do, but I've got some time on my hands to play with that before the next event. So the Brubaker Box is next on deck. I'm doing some work on the interior of it. I want to pull out that dash panel that is there, get down to where the pedals are, because that's kind of a freaky thing. The goal, of course, is to make this thing operational. I think we're probably going to pull it here out of the lab and bring it down to Sebastian's workshop to do the mechanical stuff on there, because he is far more adept at that sort of stuff than I am. And so that's going to happen. But in the meantime, let me show you what I'm doing inside. It's a really freaky, weirdo thing the more I look at it. Now, the Brubaker Box has obviously gotten a really strong reaction from all of you as well as other folks on social media. It seems like anytime I post a picture of a Brubaker Box, it gets far more likes and interest than anything else. Even this one-of-a-kind World War II Mercedes coach built. But hey, this is the world we live in. This thing is pop culture. It's really badass, and I'm having a blast putting this thing together. In fact, when I was up in Monterey talking to people, I had guys on the lawn in Pebble Beach asking me about the Brubaker Box. So what I've done inside here right now is I've ripped out this dash panel that goes all the way across the top. So I've got it over here. It's flipped over upside down. Let me get it out there. So this piece was in there. The fiberglass is pretty deteriorated. It is missing the door for the little icebox thing. And looking at the construction of this thing, I mean, here's a 2x4 that's been fiberglassed over as a support piece. The base here for the cooler, obviously, was cut really crudely with a torch. I mean, this thing is pretty crudely built. This was not a high production vehicle by any means. And I do believe that this particular one with this cooler piece in place is a one of a kind. I've not seen another one like that. But with that out of there, I can now get access to the pedal assembly and working all of that. So what's bizarre is the pedal assembly sits above the normal spot on the Volkswagen floor pan where it would go. So you can see the assembly there goes through a bracket that's right here, and we've got to figure out how to attach that to the cables and stuff that are within the tunnel that's hidden underneath that fiberglass. So on the Volkswagen pan, normally that pedal assembly goes through a hole into the steel tunnel of the chassis, and it's really simple. But in this case, we've got to figure out some sort of way to get that up there. And you can see how the clutch pedal is sort of tweaked over to make it around the steering column. The other really bizarre thing is look at how high the pedals are up off of the floor. I mean, I've got some big stomping feet, but even that's a reach for me. Especially the gas pedal. It's like your foot needs to hover above the floor in order to control the thing. So in any case, that is going to be one of the first things that we do. We got to get controls and stuff hooked up. We got to deal with some of the wiring. I've got a new engine that I'm going to be putting in the back of the car. The one that is in here is the one that came with the buggy. That was the donor for the chassis. It's frozen in there. It is not turning. So we'll be pulling that out, and I've got a really trick VW motor that's going to go in there. And then I've got all the pieces and stuff for brakes so we can get the brakes and stuff functional. So once the thing runs and drives, well, then I'm going to dive real heavy into doing interior work. You can see it is a proper mess here. Some of this stuff is cracking. You can see some damage along here. I'm not quite sure what to do with that. I've been playing around with different finishes and stuff down here. I think I want to do something that's got a nice matte finish so it just kind of goes away rather than something that's got a little gloss. But in any case, once all of this is cleaned out, I'll get in there, I'll do some refinishing so that everything looks sparkly clean. I'm going to redo this dash panel here, create a lid for the cooler box, and then finish all of that probably with a texture coat so it's got a real consistent look to it. And then we will be steps closer to it going and looking good. And of course, there's a lot more exterior work to do. We've got to figure out the fuel tank situation, get that up underneath the body, get that hooked up. There's some more cosmetic things to deal with, trim around the windows, sunroof panel. We've got to figure out what to do for the missing glass like this that's on the other side. It's a curved piece. I might end up having to do a plexi panel or something like that. There's a lot to go before this is actually a running, driving car, but I'm excited about diving into it. So hopefully we can get this thing down to Sebastian's workshop here within the next week, and we can work hard on mechanicals. It's all Volkswagen underneath, so it's very simple, especially for a guy like Seb. Should be able to knock this thing out, get it up and running, hopefully within a couple of weeks. And then bring it back and focus on the cosmetic stuff, interior, so on and so forth. But there's some other really fun stuff that's going on in regards to the Brubaker. And here's a little sneak peek. So when I was at Pebble Beach walking on the lawn, I came across my buddy Jason Torchinsky. Now, you may or may not know that name, but if you Google it, I'm sure it'll come up with all sorts of sordid tales. Anyway, Jason was a writer for a long time for a website called Jalopnik, and he was very prolific with that. I met him through the Bug movie that we were both involved. We were both interviewed on that. And then also when I was on Sticker Shock, Jason brought in his Volkswagen Beetle and I appraised that. So it was really there that we started a good friendship. We've kept in touch endlessly throughout that. Jason recently started a whole new automotive media group called The Autopian. And he and his partner are traveling around. They're doing videos. They're doing a lot of different stuff. They've been working with Bo Bachman from Galpin Motors here in Southern California. And I saw all three of them on the lawn at Pebble filming. Anyway, I stopped Jason. We had a good conversation. And he has some history with the Brubaker Box. He did a really nice article on the Brubaker back in the day. He spoke with Curtis Brubaker, got a lot of the history of the car, got some cool posters and paperwork and neat stuff. And he's thrilled that I've got one of these cars and wants to do something in regards to it, which I'm all for. And then I hit him with an idea that I've got. I want us to start a push to have Hot Wheels cars make a Brubaker Box. It is the most Hot Wheels car that has ever been built, in my opinion. I thought so when I first saw it back in the 70s at the auto show as a kid. And even today, this thing looks like it should be in the hands of little kids playing on a racetrack. So I brought that up to Jason. He said, absolutely, I'm all in. We've got to start some sort of media frenzy to try to get Hot Wheels involved with making the car. So I don't know exactly how that's going to play out. He's traveling a bit right now, but when he gets back, I'm going to hit him up with that. And I think we're going to do some videos. We might get the car together at some point, bring it down to the Hot Wheels Design Center here in Southern California, maybe protest out front until they say yes or something, or maybe not. But in any case, I really think it would be awesome to see the Brubaker Box turned into a Hot Wheels car, and I would love to hear your comments in regards to that. So if anybody has any connections with Hot Wheels, everybody, let's all make this happen. In any case, thanks so much for watching. Keep on digging them up and driving them. Lots more on the Brubaker Box soon to come. Bye-bye.